Back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle, and today we have another video from the vault. So this video I actually filmed, I think, in 2023. I got asked by my cousin to help her design a Christmas card for that year because she kind of wanted to make her own, but she wanted it to be a photo card that she could put a picture of her family on. And so I was trying to come up with something easy-ish, and this did not really end up being as easy as I hoped, but it all worked out in the end. And this card is also A2, and I ended up making hers a 5x7 size, because I didn't actually know what photo she was going to use or what size it was going to be. I didn't have any of that information going into it. So I was trying to figure out something fairly universal, and then so this was my sort of planning session for that card, and then I was thinking about it, and I was just like, I should just turn on my camera and film it and see if it comes out well enough for a video. And it didn't really come out well enough for a video, but it came out well enough for a video, if that makes any sense. The first part of this is fine. The second part is where it gets a little weird. I got a little bit frustrated, and I wasn't paying attention to where I was working, and so a good chunk of the second half of the video happens slightly off camera. So my cousin wanted to use some kind of photo situation. So I needed a fake photo to work with because I didn't really have a real photo to work with. And I did this card A2 size. Hers I did end up doing bigger because I figured at a minimum her picture would be a 4x6 because that's pretty standard picture size. So I figured that was a safe bet, so I did make hers a little bit bigger than this one. This was just my practice and my sample one. So I also took out this pattern paper from the Gina K Designs Watercolor Floral pattern paper pad, which I don't think is available anymore. I think you can still get the Watercolor Floral Ephemera. That should still be available, but I don't think the paper pad is available anymore. So I'm sorry about that. But I thought that this would be a fun pattern, and I'm going to actually cut up most of it, and it's kind of a big pattern. I don't generally go towards big patterns when I'm doing my cards, and so I thought this would work well to do this with, because I'm going to cut out a lot of the big flowers in the middle and then just have the sort of little flowers and leaves and stuff around the edge. In the end, honestly, you can't see it anyway. It wasn't my best decision, but I made the decision, and that's what it was. So I am first just essentially coloring my picture. I am coloring in these flowers. I believe it's from the Sweet Wishes stamp set, which is also no longer available, if I am remembering correctly. I did film this a long time ago. I filmed it way back, so I don't have notes on it because it was before I was really keeping track of anything I was doing, short of just simply whatever I caught on the video. So I'm sorry. That snuck up on me. So yeah, I am not 100% sure what stamp set this is. I am coloring it with my Copics, as I usually do. That's usually my go-to. And I'm using a pink color combination. And because I know I was a little bit rushing to try to get this figured out, because I didn't have a ton of time to figure out a design and then try to make it easy, because I didn't want to I knew I wanted to do some die cutting. If you were paying very close attention at the beginning of the video, you saw that I had I think it's called the frame builder. I should have looked this all up before I started recording this, but I didn't. So make sure you check the description down below if you see something that you're interested in, because I certainly am not sure of the name of it at this point. So if the names will be down in the description, hopefully. So I am just coloring this in. I'm using my markers. I said that, and I'm using my all-time favorite pink combination. It looks like that's what I'm going with based on what I'm seeing, which is RV 25, 23, and 21. And those were actually my first set of Copic markers. When I really wanted to start getting my Copic markers, I got the advice to pick out your favorite color a combination of your favorite colors. So my favorite colors are pink. So I picked out a pink combination that I really, really liked. And now I still have them some 14-ish years later. I think. I don't know. Don't quote my math on that. I don't feel like figuring it out for real. But I still have them. Apparently, I've gotten very naughty all of a sudden. That is... I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on there. It's the end of the day. This is the last thing I'm doing before I go to bed. We're going to blame it on that. And it's going to be fine. And I will try to get myself to wake up a little bit more. So, I am... Yeah, that's what I had to say. Those are my Copic markers. And that was my first color combination. And that was the tips I got when I first started getting them. Was to look for your favorite color and start there. So if you have a favorite color, start there. And then I think I didn't have a whole lot of stamps that you had to color at the time. I was still a little bit new-ish to card making at the time, and I am one of those people who tends to like start a new hobby and jump like hardcore straight into it and try to get all of the top of the line stuff from the very start. I'm working on it because it's not really the most responsible thing, especially considering the fact that many of my hobbies don't really like stick very well or for very long. But still, I remember I wasn't working yet. I was in college, and when I first discovered Copic markers. And I didn't have my own money to be able to spend on them. And I remember, like, asking my mom, like, Mom, look at how cool these markers are. They look so cool and they color so nice. And I really want them. And I would, like, force her to watch videos of people Copic coloring and all this stuff to, like, try to get her to buy them for me. And then I ended up figuring out that our local stamp store had some. So we drove out there to get it, and she let me. I think it was for a holiday. I don't remember if I finished I finished my first semester in college like Christmas gift, or if it was just like an 18th birthday like gift. I don't really remember anymore. But I remember her taking me out there, and of course she said I could get 3. And I ended up talking her into 6. Because I also wanted to get a stamp I could color, because I didn't really have any stamps that I could color. Because coloring was only just starting to take off, really, at that point. Especially with, like, the alcohol markers and things. And I wanted to... I mean, obviously coloring wasn't just becoming a thing. Like, that's always been a thing. But it was just really starting to, like, become a major thing, and people were investing in the bigger, fancier art supplies and things like that. And then I got those markers, and I was super excited and a super, super happy kiddo. For a long time with just those, what did I say, 9 markers? And then over the next roughly 10 to 15, well, not 15 years, because that would be now. Over roughly the next 10 years, I guess, I slowly built up my collection. Every time they'd go on sale, I'd get a couple markers. If I got, like, birthday money or something, I would often put it towards markers, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually I got all 300 of them. So do you need all 300 markers? No. Do I have awful full set syndrome? Yes. Speaking of that, actually, I have a question for the internet. My full set syndrome is having a little bit of an issue right now. It's having a couple issues right now, but this is the biggest issue. Maybe I'll talk about the other ones a different day. So, if you follow Gina K Designs, Gina K Designs is my one brand of like ink that I have everything, almost everything. I bought these really amazing, awesome, super ink organizers that I absolutely love. They hold the ink pad, the ink cube, and the reinker all together, and I love it. And they sit out on my desk, and they're fantastic. I love them. I love the idea of having everything together. I don't actually have all the ink pads or all the ink reinkers yet. I only have all the ink cubes. Although I just noticed one. Oh, it's in a bag. Never mind. I know where it is. I was like, wait, I'm missing one because I'm looking at them while I film this. But no, I know where that one is. And I love it. I think it's really cool. And I love being able to have them all out in front of me and easy access. And it's great. Well, in November, she came out with the 3 new cranberry colors. I have run out of ink slots. They no longer make these organizers. And I am very, 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 very sad about it. So, I'm curious. Let me know down in the comments below if you know of any other place or if you have an organizer set up like this that would let me do the same thing these ones are doing. I've looked online and on resale groups to see if anyone has been reselling them or something, if they've upgraded their organization system, but I am not finding anything. And they're not even the greatest ink organizers. Like, I love them. They're not the most well made though, and I have a feeling that's why they aren't being made anymore. And I can see where maybe a lot of people aren't as extra as me. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't really want to redo all my ink storage because I love this ink storage. And I've actually had my dad help me stabilize it a little bit because I was having issues with it toppling over and stuff. And he helped build me some stuff to, like, help stabilize it. So I really don't want to get rid of it. I really do not want to get rid of it. But I also can't find anything else comparable. I looked at some stuff from Stamp and Storage. I am ranting now and not telling you at all what's happening in this video. So we're making a little frame. I wanted the picture to show through the bottom of the frame originally, and this is not how my cousin's Christmas card turned out at all. We ended up just building all the frames, and then she just glued the frame on over the top of her picture, basically, compared to my super intricate, like, make the picture in the middle situation. So, you know, it worked out in the end. This was actually really hard, so I'm kind of glad I didn't have her do this. And then I'm just gonna go back to this video and then go back to ranting about my ink for a second. So I'm going to trim it up because I didn't quite get it all lined up nice. And then I have the frame builder from Honeybee that I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut that out in some craft colored paper. And then I'm going to ink blend over it just to add a little extra. It already puts some texture in the paper. It has little emboss lines to emboss, like, the wood grain texture in the paper. And then I just added a little bit of a dark brown color. Don't ask me which dark brown it is. I'm not sure anymore. And then I'm going to put it together. And that's where I got a little bit frustrated because I kept mixing up my pieces. I didn't organize myself very well. And then I was putting the pieces on the wrong side and things weren't lining up the way I wanted them to. But in the end, it actually does come out fairly well. I'm actually happy with it and how it turned out in the end. And like I said, when she actually put the Christmas cards together, they were so cute. She had a bunch of Christmas stickers that she used to sort of decorate the outside of the wood frame. And yeah, they were really, really adorable when she finished them. Now back to my my ink ranty story. So I'm kind of at the point now where my full set syndrome is not happy because I did not buy the cranberry colors when they came out. Knowing I didn't really have an ink storage solution for them yet. And I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm just going to have to redo all of the storage, and that makes me really, really sad. But I think so I'm, like, trying to convince my full set syndrome that we really don't need the cranberries and we could wait a little bit longer and see what happens, and if someone, like, comes out with a storage option like this. Stamp and Storage does have something similar for it's more of a Stampin' Up thing though, and it's for the it's supposed to store the ink pads, the like tiny markers, the bigger markers, and then the re-inker. I don't know the names of all of them. I'm sorry. Um, and the bigger marker section is literally the exact same size as an ink cube, but it's probably deeper because it's meant to hold the markers, and it is literally the exact same size as an ink cube. So I don't know if there'd be enough room to actually like slide an ink cube in and out of it. So I'm a little hesitant to go that route because even though Stampin' Storage's stuff is great and 90% of the storage stuff I have in my craft room is theirs, I don't really want to risk it. And so I'm kind of leaning towards possibly having to figure out a different storage solution for my reinkers because in reality that's what I have the least of right now, and I I don't really need them in front of me if I'm being entirely honest. So I could absolutely go down to just having the ink pads and ink cubes in front of me, in which case I'd probably get one of their little ink pad ink cube carousel things. So I actually do think those are really cool. And then just relabel everything so the labels are on the end instead of the side like they are now. But I am just having the hardest time letting go of the ink storage that I have. And I don't know if anyone else is like that. You almost get like weirdly emotionally attached to your storage systems and you don't want to give it up. And that's kind of where I'm at. I really don't want to give this one up, but I don't really know what else to do. And I keep telling myself that I don't really need the cranberries right this second. They're not available right now anyway, at least when I'm filming this. Hopefully by the time you guys are watching this, hopefully they've been available again. And I probably have not resisted them. And I probably have in fact bought them. But I just like, I don't know what to do with this storage situation, and it's making me stressed in a way that it really shouldn't be making me stressed, because it's not worth it. It's really not worth how worried I am about it, and it's just the reality that sometimes you outgrow storage situations and then you have to find new ones. But I'm very sad because I very, very much really, really liked this one. And part of me was like, well, do I just get the ink carousel and then like start with the cranberries? But honestly, almost my entire ink collection will fit in the ink carousel. I would still need two, I think, because I think I have, well, I know I already have 80 colors of ink, because each one of these holds 10, no, wait, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, yeah, I have 80. So, and the ink carousels hold 72, so I would already need two of them, if I was gonna do that. So part of me was like, well, maybe I just get that and start expanding that way and leave the one I have here. But because it would be so close to holding my entire collection already, and I'd rather it all matched, you know what I'm saying? But maybe I'm just overthinking it. So that's there's my question. Ink storage, mostly, in your craft room, what does it look like? What do you like? What do you not like? And again, I know I'm excessive. I do not need, by any stretch of the imagination, both the ink cube and the ink pad for all of these colors, but the full set syndrome is real. And it says that I do. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And this is the only ink line that I have it with, like, this badly. I have the full set of Distress inks. I want to get the full, now that the Distress Oxides come in cubes, I want to get the full set of the Distress Oxides in cubes. But this is the only one that I have, like, multiple sizes. But the truth is, if you craft as much as I do, if you're really serious about it, if you're someone who, like, makes cards and sells them, or if you're someone who does, YouTube and content creation and all that, you come at things very differently a lot of times. And in my brain, there are situations where the ink cubes are handy, and there are situations where the ink pads are handy. So it does pay to have both in my brain. So it's just tricky. I just don't know what to do. Or share your re-inker storage situations as well, because maybe, like, I'm really thinking that's going to be the move I'm going to have to make, is storing the re-inkers separately. I really don't want to do it though, because this would look so cool if it was done. So anyway, yeah, that's my current little, like, I don't know what to do, kind of moment that I'm having. What I feel like I had another storage. Oh no, I was just gonna tell you that I wanted to get the other distress oxides, which I just told you. Um, I'm gonna ask for the. I don't I have to look up on Simon and see if they have the complete set of them because I think all the colors are out now, and then I have to see how expensive they are and if it's worth it for me to ask for that for Christmas, or my birthday, or if it makes more sense to sort of slowly build it up. I am unsure. I don't use my distressings very often. Like, the Gina K stuff is what I reach for. Even back when it wasn't all right in front of me, and I had it stored somewhere separately, it was still usually the ones that I reached for the most. And I think it's just because I'm the most comfortable and confident in those colors and can identify them very easily. Look, the card is done, and I've just been ranting about my ink storage. But anyway, the card is, well, actually, it's not all the way done, because then I decided to add these little um, decorations to it. Little swirly flourishes. That's the word I was looking for. And because I knew Anna was gonna put Anna's my cousin. Oops. I knew she was gonna put little Christmas decorations on the frame. So this was sort of me mocking up the fact that there would be little decorations on the frame. But overall, like, despite how much I struggled a little bit with getting this to work, I actually really think this card came out fairly cute. And maybe it's just 2 years later, because I kind of feel like I remember that I wasn't a huge fan of it when I first made it. But now I'm like, actually, that was really cute. So sometimes distance, you need to do that. Take a step away and look at things again before you decide you don't like them. Maybe that's what I need to do with my ink storage too. Although I've been thinking about this for months now, so maybe not. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I will see you again soon, and have a crafty day.